with $91,353, and I checked with Marla, and it was a mistake made by the bank. They paid us too much for our taxes, so we had to go in and actually pay that back. So that's why we're showing such a large overage there. So there's really nothing to it, but it caught my eye. And when you're over 1,405%, I want to make sure what it is, and that's all it was. We just had to pay that back. So it's no mistake on the city's part. So.
And again, thank you for calling her today before we got in here and asking her about that. So thank you.
And that's why I did put it under miscellaneous, because I knew it would hang out and catch.
Yes.
You know, so I thought it'd be easier to find that way too.
I think we're good.
Okay. So I know we have a motion on the floor by Charlie. Do I have a second?
Second.
Meyer?
Yes.
Minor? Yes. Harris?
Yes.
Melton?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Tyler?
Yes.
Okay, again, you did not get, 3 of the department head reports. You will have those, emailed to you by Friday. Tanya's and Devin's are in the packet, but you will receive the other 3 by the end of the week. Next, we have the, commission and committee reports. We'll start with the committee first. And, Charlie, if you will do the fire and police, please.
Fire and police was a really short meeting, and I didn't even make the paper up on it. Keep up with Angela. Really, the only thing we discussed was the tanker that we have on loan from PV right now, and Nick informed us that PV has agreed to gift that to us virtually. We need to pay him something, $1, $10, $100, whatever. Nick needs to know what we want to pay for that tonight. And then also Nick is wanting to spend some Act 833, is that right?
Yes.
833 money to put a tank on it. And he's wanting to know if we're okay with opening bids on that.
Yeah, I think we should. We can, as long as it belongs to us, we need to fix it.
And the cost of that's roughly 30,000
Yeah.
plus a little installation fee and all, but
Right. But
So,
it'll belong to us, and it's gonna be an asset to the department.
the good thing behind the poly tanker is if the truck goes bad, we can put it back on another truck.
Yeah.
And always have it, so. That's where we're at on that, and
Do we have money in the fund to cover all
yes,
this?
Yeah.
there's over 100,000 in the
Okay.
fund, so.
Do we need to make sure that the truck's transferred before we do anything, any of that?
Probably, before we put the tank on, it needs to be transferred, but don't sound like that's an issue.
Okay.
So, for guidance of what we're gonna pay for it,
$10 is usually a good run.
$10,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And then,
Nick, do you think that's gonna work? Have you talked to them at all, had an opportunity to?
I mean, I've talked to them and they said they're willing to get it for this,
Okay,
you know, turn it over to us. I mean, it didn't cost them anything.
right.
It
And you've got your bill of sale
I just
ready
got a
when they
blank
tell
bill
you?
of sale, so
Okay,
I just didn't need to know how much to put on it,
okay.
then I can get it with CBC.
$1.
$1.
Okay.
So, I mean,
The gentleman's agreement.
Do we need to do anything for this, attorney?
Beg pardon?
Do we need to do a vote or anything on this?
He's got $1 in his budget.
Okay.
I hope.
What about for the bids on the tank? Do we need to do anything on that?
Well, your bid should always say, all bids may be rejected whenever you do your advertising for bids. And then the council can approve the bid whenever you get it, and you can
Okay.
move to approve that spending then. But until we know what it is, and it may be 30, it may be 130.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I had.
Nothing under police? It was just
No.
fire. Okay.
No, he didn't have anything to report.
So, Randy, policy and personnel, please?
Yes, we had a very short meeting also on last Tuesday night, and basically we just had a timeline with me on what we're preparing for our employee retirement plan. There's a lot of legwork we've got to get completed before everything goes into effect. They're having meetings weekly, sometimes weekly and sometimes every 2 weeks, to try to get everything lined out. The retirement program is set to start on January 1 of 2025, so we've got plenty of time to get everything in line, to give the council plenty of time to go in and budget for this for our next year, so we're not going into it completely blind. So I think that's for the best. We'll have all of our employees should have their educational processes done at the time and make their decisions on how they want to handle things. So that's about all we covered, and I think that we should be ready to go by January 1.
And a lot of time put into that, and I think the employees are gonna benefit from that when we get it going. Let's see, commission. Ms. Reagan, please come forward.
The planning commission met on Thursday, September the 5th. We had 2 items of new business on the agenda. One was DJ and Immaculate Acres request to rezone 1211 North 3rd Street from R1 to C2. They are looking at putting a Shirley's tax service at this location. And commission approved that to come to council this evening for a vote. And then the second request was Martin Baker and his request to rezone 1209 Hilberg in Ozark from R1 to R3. He is looking at putting duplexes on the property, 2 duplexes. DJ Immaculate's ordinance and everything is with you all. However, Marty's, we do not have the correct legal description, so we do not have that ready, so that will be in our next council meeting. And then as far as old business goes, I have never heard back from Mr. Brian Hood on the rezoning of track 2 on North 36th Street from R1 to C2. So, guess we'll see where that goes.
Okay,
You can wait till this ordinance later,
we can,
under new business.
I don't have it under there, I had it on the commission. I don't have it listed.
We can add it, oh, we didn't.
You just wanted it, so that,
So there is an ordinance to establish this rezoning pursuant to the recommendation of the planning commission. Just need a motion to read. Yeah, I felt it.
okay, I need a motion to read
I'll make a motion to read.
and a second.
I'll second it.
You need to speak louder, August.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark, Arkansas, and for other purposes, whereas the Ozark Planning Commission conducted a public hearing on September 5th, 2024, at which the proposed amendment was discussed with members of the public, and whereas the public hearing was advertised in the paper of general circulation in the city of Ozark at least 15 days prior to the meeting, and whereas the city council has heard the report of the Ozark Planning Commission, had a motion to approve with a second, so the motion passed. The Ozark Planning Commission did recommend an amendment to the Ozark zoning regulations and maps. The said property is owned by Verlin J. Akers and Michaela B. Akers. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, Section 1, that the zoning regulations and map of the City of Ozark shall be amended to reflect that the zoning of the following described property located in the Ozark District of Franklin County, Arkansas, is modified from R1 to C2, to wit, part of the northwest quarter of the southwest quarter of Section 25, Township 10 North, Range 27 West, described as beginning at a point on a line that commenced 103 feet east of the center of the said northwest quarter to southwest quarter, said line running south 82 degrees 00 minutes east, 314 feet, thence south 139.0 feet to a point that is the northwest corner of Lot 2 and the place of beginning for the description of this lot. Thence running east 204 feet, thence along the stone wall, which is on the west side of the county road, south 01 degrees 00 minutes, west 100 feet, thence west 201 feet, thence north 100 feet, to to the northwest corner of Lot 2 and the southwest corner of Lot 1, the place of beginning, the same being Lot 2 of the Curtis addition to the town of Ozark, Arkansas, subject however to all prior easements, reservations, exceptions, rights, and right-of-way. Physical address 1211 North 3rd Street, Ozark, Arkansas, 72949. Section 2, all ordinances, parts of ordinances and regulations in conflict herewith are hereby repealed.
Need a motion to dispense with second and third reading and read by title only.
So moved.
I'll second it. Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Meyer.
Yes.
We did that. An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes. An ordinance amending the zoning regulations and zoning maps of the city of Ozark and for other purposes.
We need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second,
I'll second.
Summer.
Melton.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Meyer.
Yes.
And before we move on there, I know I told you last month that they were needing, a new member. And so, we put it out for 2 weeks. I had 2 individuals that had expressed interest in, being on the planning commission. I had talked to one, sent an email to the other, asked them to be at last Thursday night's meeting. And that way they could see what interests them, if they had any questions, do a follow-up. And I would like to recommend to the council tonight that Mr. Robert Chamberlain, who is, will you wave at the council, please? He has expressed interest, been in the office a couple of times talking about this, so I would like to put him on the planning commission.
Need a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Tyler,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
So that takes us to, we have no old business. Hey, he's come up with some
Or
good questions.
congratulations,
There
as the case may be.
we go. Okay, under new business, the agreement between the city of Ozark and Ozark Public School District for use of the recreational softball field. Michael?
I was gonna tell you, I have reviewed the agreement. There are, you know, it does provide that the city's gonna provide utilities and so forth and so on. You may have the lights on a little longer, you may have a little higher electric bill as a result of that, you know, because of the constant use of it. But other than that, there's a 60-day out for either party, and so if it becomes too much for either one, then you can always get out of it. But other than that, the agreement looks fine. It calls for establishment of a joint committee, between the school district and the city, to oversee it and develop regulations for use and so forth. It does put the onus on the city to maintain the bathrooms and the other facilities there, which you've got a duty to do anyway, really.
I'll start to say, they do that now, so
Yeah.
it's not that it's gonna be adding any more job responsibility to them. Did you have anything you wanted to comment or say on this? Okay. Questions?
No, sounds good.
You just need a motion to approve.
I'll make a
Authorize
motion.
the mayor to enter into the agreement.
I'll make a motion to approve, enter into an agreement with the school.
I'll second that.
Meyer,
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
All right, next is Shelby Beasley with Main Street Director to discuss the entertainment district.
Is it okay if this isn't working?
I don't know, you push the button on the top
Or
of it.
does it go like this?
It should be working.
Hello, testing, testing, is there? It lights up green, but then it goes away. There it is. Oh, it went away. Can you still hear me now? Yeah. Okay.
Here, I'll show you.
Lauren,
Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So hello, Mayor, councilmen and women, city employees, and community. My name is Shelby Beasley. I'm the Executive Director for Main Street Ozark. I'm here today to discuss with you some information regarding a proposal for an entertainment district for downtown Ozark. Please keep in mind this ordinance is in draft form, and so we are here for feedback and to address any questions or concerns anyone may have. So last week I provided the council with the pros and cons of an entertainment district, guidelines for Responsible Hospitality Institute, I apologize, and a proposed draft entertainment district ordinance for Ozark. We also included a sample ordinance for golf carts, side-by-sides, etc. in the entertainment district. While generating this ordinance, we sought guidance and input from other main streets across the state. And our goal here today is to open a discussion with the downtown business owners, the police department, the city government, etc., to see if this is something we as a community could successfully implement. I'm looking forward to working with those who are interested in scheduling additional meetings to adjust the ordinance and to ensure its success. In the draft ordinance, we reference ACA 1454, 1412, I'm nervous, y'all, and Act 874, which allows cities located in a county with established entities authorized by ABC to sell alcoholic beverages by ordinance and create a designated entertainment district to promote hospitality and tourism. The current Main Street Ozark district boundary is provided on page 8 of the draft ordinance in your packet for your reference, and we are open to adjustments to this boundary in regards to the entertainment district boundaries. Establishing an entertainment district would allow guests 21 and older to carry alcoholic beverages in city-approved cups with the logo, examples drafted on page 9, while wearing a city-approved wristband in all public spaces and participating commercial properties within the boundaries of the district from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. If this ordinance is passed, we would like to present to the Ozark Advertising and Promotion Commission to purchase these items for the district. Each business has a choice of whether or not they want to participate in the district. If they choose to, they will have a logoed sticker on their door, which would allow beverages into their business. The businesses that contain liquor license will be required to display rules and a map of the district in their establishment. We believe that this will greatly benefit our downtown economy and boost our foot traffic, as well as positively impact our downtown area and events. The host of any event downtown will have the opportunity to extend the hours of the ordinance through the Ozark Police Department and the District Oversight Committee. These hours can be extended until 2 a.m. when the Alcohol Beverage Commission requires all alcohol sales to end. The liability of the alcohol sales will remain on the business holding the liquor license. The City of Ozark, as well as Main Street Ozark, will not be assuming any new liabilities. Lastly, the mayor, we would ask, be responsible for appointing a 7-member oversight committee to manage the district, and that information is referenced on page 5 of the ordinance. This committee will be responsible for distributing information to the businesses, approving event requests that will affect the hours of the district, and other tasks as needed. They will also have the authority to temporarily suspend or revoke any business not abiding by the rules established by the City of Ozark in order to preserve the integrity of the district. Thank you all for your time and your consideration. Do I step down or do I stay up?
Go ahead and stay up in case anybody has any questions. I don't know really.
Okay, I read a bunch on it, and you did really well.
Thank you.
And I think we need to extend the district to take in 8th and 9th Street, so if you're out in your golf cart and you wanna go to Sonic, you can go to Sonic, or you can go to CV or Harps.
Okay.
Just, you can go across the state highway, you just can't go down the state highway, so if we move it over, then people can get
I'm not
across.
sure you
to the
can
other.
cross the state highway. I don't think you can be on the state highway with the.
You can cross the state highway, and everything I've looked at and talked to, you can cross the highway, you just can't drive down it. So you can cross 23 and 64, you just can't go down those highways.
Okay.
And that,
Seems like a concern. As someone who prosecutes traffic laws, it just seems like.
all the golf cart places, things that I've read is, streets with, 35 mile an hour speed limit. They, and but your golf cart has to be legal. It
Yeah,
has to
illuminated and.
has to
all
have
that.
lights and
Yeah.
brakes and all that.
Blinkers.
Yeah. But all over, a lot of places down on the beach, or the whole town of Port Aransas is golf carts. You just can't drive down the state highway, they cross over. A lot of people go to those towns and park their car, get in the golf cart, they rent golf carts there, they never get back in their car until the weekend. They go down to the beach, they go all over town, go to eat, makes an atmosphere. I mean, it's more of a relaxed atmosphere for people to have an enjoyable time. And I think that's what the entertainment district is gonna do. Relax the atmosphere where people, if people wanna be there, we got people all over town, all over here with side-by-sides anyway. So if they got, give them a reason, a place they can go with it, they can go from this place to that place and mill around, and it makes for a happy, kinda like going to the parade, you just wanna mill around there and have a good time. All the places I've been where they're doing it, I haven't seen any kind of a drinking problem, cause it's more of the alcohol thing is, I mean, it's part of it, but it's more of the atmosphere, a relaxed atmosphere to socialize.
And I didn't know if that request would be something that would be in an entertainment district like that. I mean, personally, I feel like it may be a separate ordinance, but I didn't know how that worked, and so that's why I provided that sample, just so it could be part of the discussion as well if need be.
Okay, I've gotta ask Kevin something here. These people have signed up under public input. Do we need to find out if they wanna speak now? Do we have to wait till
No,
public?
you're supposed to let them speak at the
At the
public input.
okay. I
Assuming
do
they're
have
not
a
gonna be taking
question.
any vote.
The ones of you that have signed up on this sheet and it says public input, and you had is that the reason you're here, or do you want to speak in public input time? I just kinda need to know, so,
Meaning, like, is there any questions for me?
I think everyone who wrote that down wants to.
During the
give
public
agreement
input
that
time.
They're allowed for public
Okay.
input on this issue.
okay, well then we'll go forward then, so you can go ahead and sit down
Okay.
unless council has any questions right now.
I'll be honest, go ahead, Charlie.
Go ahead.
I had a call this afternoon for some concerned citizens based on your information that was in the paper that are dead set against it. And that's just a couple that I've got this afternoon.
The article from Vernon, that,
Do what now?
the article from Vernon?
The article in the
Okay.
paper that y'all is in Spectator, I guess.
Okay, yeah, we didn't write that.
Well,
I can read it if you'd like.
they're
I'll read
concerned
it.
about, well, anyway, they're concerned about this entertainment district going in, and I'm concerned also, same reason. This was brought up a few years ago, in one of our meetings to possibly do this, and at the time, we talked about it. My problem with it is, you got 3 churches in this community right downtown Ozark, and I don't know if they realize what you're wanting to do, because they've got a lot of money, time, and invested in this area of town, so, I have a problem with that. I want to put an entertainment district where the people go to worship or have their church services at. Like I said, that's just my opinion right now, and I have got calls, reflecting the same thing this afternoon, so I don't know, you're gonna have to tweak it to make some of these people, understand what you're wanting to do better, but right now, based on what you're wanting, I don't know. I'm gonna have to hear you out more, I guess.
Okay, any questions or concerns with the information I have provided?
One of the concerns I've had, I have spoke to some of the law enforcement around here. The golf carts and stuff around town with the alcohol they are not for it.
No.
They do not want that. I agree with that also. I don't think we need anything like that in town. Like I said, that's Randy's opinion right now. We're not voting on it right now. I'm just telling you what I think and how I feel. So, that's where my feelings are right now. It's a little bit broad what you're wanting to do. It looks to me like we don't really have anything nailed down exactly what you're wanting to do yet. I think if you can if you wanna try to shore it up some, you might make it more appealing to people, but
In regards to, well, okay, so in regards to the boundary,
Yes,
I'm
one
just,
thing's the boundaries.
yes, and I agree with that. I agree with that. I just gave you guys the Main Street Ozark District boundary. In my opinion, I do think it needs to be smaller and more manageable in regards to the entertainment district. Again, if an ordinance is separate for the whole golf cart thing, I feel like it needs to be separate. That boundary could be different, but in regards to an entertainment district, I do think that boundary needs to be smaller. I didn't know, this is the first time I've ever done this process, so I didn't know like how much I needed to determine and set in stone, because ideally, I want feedback from the businesses, the community, from the council to say, hey, we like this, we don't like this, and let's tweak and amend it according to what's gonna make everyone happy. But wanted to get something in front of you that the other communities in Arkansas have utilized and executed, just to kind of get the ball rolling and get that started if possible.
Another question I had also is, are you wanting this to be a full-time entertainment district 7 days a week?
No, it would be Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
I
got a
question, Shelby.
Is that?
Well, that's, well, let me tie on to that and then I'll let you, is it gonna be for the Tuesday, or you said Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that for the entire year then, those days, through the whole year, throughout the year?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And driving a golf cart, you cannot drink and drive, correct?
Correct. That is my understanding, yes.
You can, that's a law everywhere.
Right, and that's what I wanted to establish.
You cannot drink and drive. So the driver, you can have a driver and you can have a golf cart full of people that are prowling around having a good time. They've got the pub crawl bicycles where there's a guy drives it and then everybody,
I just wanna make it clear.
yeah.
I think that we had very good luck with the temporary that we did. I think that, like Shelby said, we just need to talk more about it, make more tweaks and stuff.
And it's not like you're in a rush to
No.
have this happen. I know we've got events coming up, but I think tonight is a good opportunity to get the feedback from people. And you mentioned earlier, probably setting up 2 or 3 meetings, and I think that would get that out there better to the businesses, to, like Randy said, the churches. People, I'll be talking about it on the radio in the morning. That may be something you need to get with Mark as well.
Okay.
But I think this may be the start to go
Yeah,
from
because
here.
they want money to come in this town, nobody's working on it to even get any money in here, everybody's got that old money they wanna hold on to, they don't want no new faces around here. In order to have new faces to come in this town, you're gonna have to be spontaneous and be like other towns,
Well, that's,
sort of.
you get businesses because you have traffic.
Exactly, we don't get a
We
lot of
wanna
business.
increase the traffic and
Because
hopefully we
there's
can
old
increase the
buildings
business.
downtown, nobody wants to get rid of, nobody wants to sell or do anything with them. And that's what she's trying to do, is trying to bring money to this town to help, not to hurt us.
Any other questions?
I would suggest you call some meetings, or somebody needs to call meetings.
Well, I think since Main Street is initiating it, I think let's let them take the
Yep.
ball, let them set them up, the meetings, and they still have to follow the same procedures that we do about notifying the media. And Shelby's really good about that, so let's let them take that and run with it.
Especially evening meetings, when,
Okay.
like at 5:30 when people are off work.
Yep.
Okay. So an evening meeting.
And you might even want to do one during the day to get people that work at night.
Yeah.
Because we do have people that here that work at night that would have some input, or some of your business owners may not be able to come because they're there at night and easier to get away at lunch. But
Would it be allowed to do a survey as well?
I would think so. I
Okay.
don't see why not.
Okay.
Anything on that? I mean,
Okay.
okay, so then we'll do this here in a little bit and,
Okay.
go from there.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so next we have the Kimberly Loop. And in your packet, you do see where they did have 5 bids turned in. There is a substantial difference in bid number 1 and bid number 5. But Hawkins and Weir did meet. they discussed this, and they recommended that we go with Phillips Construction, which is the first one at 169,275.
And I am correct, we're paying half of this?
Yes. And I know when Tanya brought this to me, I mean, that is a big difference, but I sat down, looked at it, she and I went over some things, and, I feel really good that the engineering company sat down and looked at it. They made some discussions with Phillips Construction, and they did recommend that we go with them.
Well, that's what we pay our engineers the big money for, so I think we need to agree with them.
Do I have a motion to go with Phillips and Construction?
I'll make the motion, we go with Phillips Construction.
I'll second it.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor. Yes. Meyer.
Yes.
Okay, the next item is the lease renewal with the Department of Community Corrections. That will need to be put off until October. The lease isn't up until the end of November. They just they didn't have everything ready this afternoon, so we are going to, be discussing that with the October meeting. So next is our public input. And I'll just go down the road the way who signed in. Shelby, do you need to speak any more? Do you have anything else you want to say? Okay.
I don't think so, not unless anyone has any other
Okay.
questions or concerns.
And do remember that in the public input, you have 3 minutes, and the council cannot respond back to you. That's just your time to voice your opinion or your concern. So, Michelle Brown, will you come forward, please? Give me just a second to get my timer ready.
Just tell me when.
Just 1 second. All right, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me here for just a minute. I live on River Street in the proposed area. I also am in the Main Street area as well. I invested a few $100,000 between purchase and renovations of an 1879 Victorian that was built right after the Civil War. We do have an Airbnb in the basement that's separate and a separate drive-in from the back. So I do represent a tiny piece of the hospitality industry, but mostly I'm here as a mother. I'm also here as an educator. I hold a specialist degree in education leadership and have worked with the state of Arkansas and Springdale schools previously in my career and with the School for the Blind. I'm concerned about the discrimination of families and children by having an open alcohol environment on our public streets and sidewalks, specifically beer and wine in open cups all around. I did a little research and found that when we did this back in November, it was unanimously passed by everyone here except Ms. Summer. I think it was right after there was a change. I think it was right before you got here. It was unanimously passed then, and it was presented by the Chamber of Commerce at the time by Sarah Rodriguez, according to your minutes that are on your public website. In that record, it was passed on November 13th for December 9th for the Christmas Square Festival. And then it was also the day of the Christmas parade. So it's December 9th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I can read it if anyone doesn't remember that day. But my concern is that we had open alcohol outside in that area. And although it did say we're going to put up a little strap or something so that it won't go into the parade, so we were encouraging our pedestrians, our children who are walking beside floats, riding horses, whatever's going on, we were encouraging them to have excess alcohol consumption by other people around them. I had a big concern. The year prior to that, we had limited public resources with our police officers. which I fully support their division, and I would fully support any more resources thrown their way. But we were having trouble with blocking the parade route. I had a conversation with the police officer down at Eastside Park. The parade, everyone was running around the parade in their cars, and then they were coming at the parade on foot, and the cars were coming this way down at Eastside Park, trying to cut around our square. I'm concerned with the lack of resources that our public servants, or, public service have, like chief and everyone that works so hard, with being able to manage additional crime increase and additional alcohol-related crime increase by having an open bar. So those are my 2 cents, and where I'm coming from. I'm a flat no, and I'm against this.
Mandy has 4 seconds to spare. Miss Pat?
I believe you can yield your time to Greg if you would like. Isn't that correct? Anyone can yield their 3 minutes. Would you like to yield your 3 minutes of open speech and yield the remaining amount?
I really wasn't prepared to speak. I just really come because I'm concerned about this. Well, as a grandmother and great-grandmother of property on River Street, I really would like to know that I can enjoy sitting in the swing on the porch and viewing the river with my children, grandchildren, great-grandchild, without being concerned about someone within a few feet walking with an open container. I'm totally against it. And basically, that's my thought on it. And I'd like to render the rest of my time to Greg then. Thank you.
Miss Kim Franks, please. You're gonna let your husband, Greg?
Just because he's a little more versed in the detail than what he'd like to share.
So let's see, you get 8 minutes.
I'm not gonna take that long. I'm not gonna take that long. Hey, many of you don't know because I wasn't here last time. Greg Franks, my wife Kim, and we're the director and co-director, and Reagan was one of my board members of the Miracle League that you put in, and we're downtown. I understand where they're coming because the city's been behind us in Chamber and Main Street. Our biggest thing is when we heard this, it goes back to the legal aspects of it. Because of zoning regulations, whereas this baseball field is controlled by the city, you're in the downtown area by an entertainment based upon that field. So we'll have to work with Miracle League because they have to have specifics as far as where it's at location and making sure it's within a safe zone. Does that make sense? Because you can control the smoking, drinking, whatever, fun time. But don't get me wrong, we're supportive of you, but we need to do some more in-depth, Kevin, I think, see what the real regulation is, especially on the zoning perspectives and that side of the house. And I'm just talking Miracle League, okay? So I've got to look at it from that perspective. So there's good things and bad things about all of it. We just need to find a happy medium on the Miracle League side from my perspective, because investors are going to say, I don't want to invest to put my name down in that area. Does that make sense? Some of them will, some will. And if we had controlled access, which the proposed location does not have city-owned controlled access, it has a shared access with Drummond. Is it Drummond? Is that who it is? Drummond Truckett. So we have to get some of those things in there. That was one of my biggest. What else was there, Kim? Was there anything else?
We're bringing in special needs adults and children.
Yeah.
That is a huge deal for me. As a mom of 3 special needs children, hearing impaired, it's a big deal.
Yeah. So
and that is a concern in the games that will be on Thursdays.
Yeah, and that's the times Tuesday, Thursday, and that's our biggest concern too, because we can't really do Wednesdays, obviously, on that, and Mondays and Wednesdays, and that's what they get.
Special needs parents are not going to be coming around the community.
Yeah, so there's there's pros and cons to everything, and I don't, so we would just wanna bring that up, cause they will, it's that optics of it that's our concern as well, because, hey, you're this close to it. If it was over here, say, if we put the baseball field behind this place, and it was all controlled by the city, and you could control, they wouldn't have a, but it's just based upon what the city gave us. It's not, yeah, we have to consider that, so. I don't have any more. I mean, I understand what they're doing as well, that's a great thing, so, but from our perspective, we have to work a little bit more to define, because I think the Miracle League lawyers will just shut us off real fast and say, go find another location. You can have it Ozark, but not there. So that's our concern. Anyway, thanks. Good to meet everybody finally. I know I was out, so.
Okay, Miss Brenda Mann.
I also live in the entertainment district. I live on River Street, pardon me. And I really am against this from the standpoint of, number one, I just don't want to see this in Ozark. But also, I had a son that was an alcoholic, as most of you are probably aware of. But when he was drinking, he was aggressive and hostile. And if he had run into another alcoholic who was also aggressive and hostile, there would have been a fight going on, which would have just made more work for the city police, which we do not have enough officers there anyway. I feel like that I don't remember exactly where Ozark or Franklin County falls in the lineup in Arkansas counties as far as drug problems are concerned, but we're up there pretty well. And why add alcohol to the problem? How are we going to control, even though you feel like that these certain cups will will erase problems with a 12-year-old picking it up, but if you start talking to someone, sit your cup down, and a 12-year-old says, hey, they're not paying any attention, and they take a drink, then, you know, what are we doing to our children? So anyway, that's really all I have to say, but I am firmly against it, and I appreciate the council really taking in the community feedback on that.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, is it Jan? Thank you.
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to read what you've been presented. Just generally, I don't see the point in it. I don't see where extra revenue will come in. I don't think our downtown has enough to offer that people who can drive around on carts or something are somehow going to bring a whole lot of money or revenue or be attractive. I just feel very strongly about that. I come from a town up north where alcohol, we were a dry town and alcohol was allowed in, and I would say there was nothing beneficial about that. It didn't bring any more business in, it did bring more trouble, and I would probably keep my grandkids and my business out of town if that were happening. So I'm a strong no, and if I have any time left, I will donate it to Joanne Priya.
Ms. Joanne?
I too haven't read what you've read, just what was in the paper. And just initially, I didn't know if you were voting on it tonight or what, so I felt that it was important to at least give some input on the concerns that I have. But I do want you to know that I support Main Street. I have friends on the board and love you guys. Done business with you, appreciate you, and I appreciate you, all the work. We've been in Ozark 30 years, and we've seen just tremendous growth of our city through what's going on in the initiatives with the city, with Main Street, and I just want to say I do appreciate it. But here's my concerns that I cannot support the alcohol and the entertainment district for 4 reasons. I'll just list you the 4 reasons, and I'll give a little bit more explanation. 1 is trash concern. 2 is it's not friendly to children or family friendly. 3, alcoholism is a problem, and I'll explain that a little more. And also, I hate to see a burden on the police department. First with the trash, when we drove into town 30 years ago, I was very surprised how much trash was along the highway. We lived in 5 states and been from coast to coast, and I've really never seen that anywhere, and I don't understand that. And my husband worked 20 years for a company when he had to ride it was a public company in our area. The guys he rode with just threw trash out the window. It's undeniable that trash is a problem. And so I don't know who's going to pick up the trash when somebody, and we live on 23. I don't know. And my husband picks up trash, if not on a daily basis, several times a week from our house to the stoplight, which is 2 or 3 blocks. So trash is a problem. There's people that, I don't understand why people throw trash out the window, but they do. And so I don't know when paper cups are going to be downtown with more trash. Plus, I work once a month with the city, and I've been working downtown on the square for 25 years for beautification purposes, and trash has been a problem on the city. Once a month, when we work downtown, the first thing we do is pick up trash. We get a bag of trash. People throw trash in the flower beds. People throw trash in the sidewalk. And one time, I did see something that was out of the area that we work, and I was just curious how long it would stay if I didn't pick it up. And so I watched it for 3 months and finally picked it up. And it was on a public sidewalk that gets a lot of traffic. And there's just not a lot of people that want to take the initiative. And whose responsibility? Is it Main Street's? Is it the city? Whose responsibility is it to pick up trash that would be left behind in the entertainment district? And also family friendly. I've spent most of my life with children and working with children and trying to enhance our life. And so I have a real care about children, and I just don't think it's a family-friendly thing. I know families myself would be included. I would be like Jan. If alcohol was involved, I probably would avoid that, those days, and just choose not to be around it. I grew up with both sides of my family having alcohol problems. My family doesn't know how to have fun without including alcohol. Any event my family would have, alcohol would always be included, and it kind of turned me the other way. It's like, come on, guys, we can have fun without having alcohol involved. I've done it my whole life. And I have had alcohol in my life. My family still likes to have alcohol in their life, but I don't want to give a reason for anyone to stumble. And I'd hate for our city to give someone a reason to stumble, because my husband, 45 years ago, he was an alcoholic. And he says that once you're addicted to something, he's not an alcoholic. He was, it didn't take long, but then he became addicted to something else. And so if somebody has an addiction, they're going to stumble with another addiction more easily. And so if someone has alcoholism, we're not doing them any favors, because they're going to see someone with an open cup, and it's going to bring something back. It could bring an urge back. I know people who are people in my family have lost marriages because of alcohol. So probably most of you have responsible alcohol. You know, that's not a problem. But you probably know somebody who does battle alcoholism. And the police department, they have a lot on their hands to take care of. I'd like to see them just be able to concentrate on drug problem, which we all know is very big. And I don't know how big the problem of sex trafficking is, but I do know it's a problem because I've had some women in my home who have been in that situation. And so I would be a no on the alcohol part. Let's find ways to have fun and encourage many of the other things that Main Street events have to offer without including alcohol.
Thank you. Jonelle?
I'm having to wear my sweater as a skirt because I expected it to be the Arctic Circle in here, and it's not. So thank you for letting those of us in the community give our input about this. I appreciate that a lot. My concern also is alcohol. I've raised 6 children. My 2 youngest children were raised exclusively here in Ozark. And I've been a nurse for 25 plus years. So I've seen people die from alcoholic related illnesses. And to me, it is not a pretty picture. But my biggest thing is from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, when our teenagers and our children are milling about town, and our teenagers do mill about town, you know, without parents. And I don't know about y'all, but I remember when I was a teenager, if I wanted alcohol, I could find it. There was always plenty of good old boys that would, you know, fix me up. So I know how that works. We're encouraging public intoxication. What kind of example are we setting for our youth in this city? And I, for a fact, know that Miss Brenda was talking about Franklin County, where we're at on the alcohol drug addiction thing. I know for a fact here in Ozark, we have an alcohol and drug addiction problem. I've worked with recovery programs for years here in Ozark. So yeah, we have a problem. So are we gonna, you know, just reinforce that problem and have that an open view of our children and just, you know, I'm all for things that bring people into Ozark. I'm all for Ozark becoming better than we are, you know, but I agree with Joanne, you know, there's lots of things we can do that doesn't involve alcohol. So that's where I'm a hard no on this too, as far as my community goes.
Thank you. Okay, that is all that has signed up for public input. And again, thank you for being here. Thank you. That is your right to express your opinion, your feelings, and thank you. That goes back to what I said about caring about your community. And something I am gonna say, that when you walk through that door, or walk out that door, don't let it become a personal thing, okay? We all still live here, so let's find, like Greg was saying, see if we can find a common ground or something. Just don't start the bitterness and the hatefulness with people, please. Yes, ma'am?
Am I allowed to say something?
Yeah, because you did a while ago. I'll let you, if you want to.
I just want to mention, this isn't anything I personally pressed. I was approached, to present this, and so I apologize if I've upset anyone. There are people that are for it, and none of them showed up tonight, but I absolutely appreciate you guys' feedback, and I did not mean any disrespect.
No, I don't think it's taken.
I'll take it that way.
Honey, we're not angry with you. This is our community and we just wanna voice our opinion.
Exactly.
I think she's thinking like a hog game, you know?
Now, if there's a reason they have to drink at those.
Well,
Sorry.
Or they're everybody's addicted to something.
Okay, I just have a few announcements. Well, you know, whatever.
Turn that timer off.
Or snooze the timer instead. That's a timer, not getting calls.
Just a few announcements here. October the 7th through the 12th is the fall cleanup. It is curbside. We'll have it on the website tomorrow on the items that can and cannot be picked up. I do ask that you just remember, try not to leave sectionals and console televisions out. You can take that stuff out to the transfer station because a lot of times it's the driver and one person, and that's kind of awkward picking up a sectional. But if you have issues like that, please stay in touch with us or with cards, if you would, please. And Teresa, the Saturday before, are we Pride and Beautification doing a pickup day that Saturday?
Sure.
Okay, I didn't want to put you on the spot, I just had to ask you, do you want to? I mean, we normally, okay, so that Saturday will be here 9 to 12, and I do want to tell you that if you've not met Teresa, her heart is in the Pride and Beautification in this town. They go to a lot of trouble, her, Michelle, Rodney, is there anybody else in here that's on that committee? Or that help work with that? They go around, they ask businesses for donations to help encourage people. And like someone said earlier, it is sad the amount of trash that is picked up in this town. I will say that we do have the ordinance of up to $1,000 for littering, and that is enforced with Judge Pat. So it's getting better. It is better. Last Saturday, we had the back to school bash out here on the parking lot. The kids had a ball. If you did not get to see that, them coming under the fire truck with the hose and water going everywhere, then the bubble machine was next to it. We had to have the cleanest kids in Franklin County. I handed out little rubber ducks, and one little boy lost his duck in the bubbles, and he was just devastated. When we got it cleaned up, he got to find his duck, but they had a really good time. Webb City Baptist Church, First United Methodist Church were very instrumental in making this happen. Our police department, I think they've all deserted, but we've got Devin and Shay in here. They did hot dogs, nachos, and the proceeds from that went to Shop with a Cop. And then a thank you to the fire department for getting the ladder and everything set up. It was an eventful day, was it not, guys? And if you guys have any donations that you would like to give to these gentlemen for Shop with a Cop, they are still doing fundraisers, so get with Devin, Shay, actually any of our officers. And then the last thing, if you will notice, is if you come into the community center, they've gotten started on the windows. It's gonna absolutely make a huge difference in where the swimming pool area is. It's going to alleviate some of that extreme heat in the summer, which we're very grateful for that. But, they'll get the front part done next week, and when she finishes that, we have broke it down into 4 sections on each side. If any business or family, individual would like to advertise, you can do that for 3 years for only $1,625. Okay, we are asking for a 3-year time, and that the lady that put this together and is going to do them said that you don't need to take them down any more often than that. So we think that 3 years, it kind of runs about $500 for business advertisement. If you want to do that, if you will give Brooke a call at the community center, it's 667-0864. If you can't get a hold of her, call me. Again, thank you all. We'd love to see you here next month. Love to hear your input, and need a motion to adjourn, please.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
We are adjourned. Thank you. Oh, wait, gotta call roll. All right.
Tyler?
Yes.
Baker?
Yes.
Melton?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Bonner?
Yes.
Meyer?
Yes.